Time to make some sandwiches. Time to make some sandwiches. Alright, so as you can see, we got a lot going on here. So before we get started, if you are new, hit that sub button for me and notification bell. Share this with your friends and family. Enjoy the video. Alright, so today we are going to make some steak sandwiches. I love steak sandwiches. And we're going to do them my way. So the first thing I want to make is what is like to be called a quick pickle. Basically, you heat up your pickling liquid, and then whatever you're pickling, you pour that over it, and then you jar it up, whatever. Put it in a container, let it sit for a few minutes, and then it kind of cooks whatever you're pickling, and kind of makes it soft and crunchy faster. But today we're doing pickled red onions. So I have here 2 decent sized red onions, but I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to do like half moons. That way they hold better instead of dicing them, because nobody does dice pickled onions. It's just weird. But anywho, I'm going to slice these up, and then we'll make our pickling liquid. Alright, so I have these all cut. Let's make our pickling liquid. Alright, so in here I have 1 cup of water. And then I'm going to add about a half a cup of red wine vinegar. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of sugar, about 2 teaspoons, maybe even a tablespoon of garlic, just a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Okay, and I got all my ingredients in here. We're going to let this go for just a few minutes until it starts bubbling. And then once it begins to start boiling or simmering, cut the heat and we'll pour it over our onions and let our onions sit for a few minutes. Alright, so our pickling liquid is boiling. Let's pour them over our onions. Okay, and then we have our onions set off to the side. So before we get to our steak, we are going to make a horseradish mayo. So I have here some olive oil mayo. I have some Dijon mustard, lemon juice, got our salt and pepper. And then I got some extra hot horseradish, because I like horseradish. You just get regular horseradish, works the same. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of garlic powder. I don't wanna add too much, because there's a little bit in here, so I don't wanna overkill it, but just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna add about a half cup of mayo. Okay, then I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of Dijon. Okay, then just a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, then about a teaspoon of lemon juice. All right, and then lastly, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of my horseradish. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon plus or minus another teaspoon or so of horseradish. Because I really like horseradish. Okay, then we'll give that a good stir. All right, and there you have your horseradish mayo. Now it's steak time. All right, so I have here my cast iron pan. We're gonna get this nice and hot, and then we're just gonna add a tablespoon or 2 of butter. We're gonna obviously salt and pepper our steak, and then whenever I do like hot surfaces, I always add a little bit of olive oil too. All right, so I seasoned both sides with salt and pepper, and again, I just use a little bit of olive oil, and then once I flip it over, then I'll add my butter. And normally I do like garlic and rosemary and stuff, but I want to keep it simple because it's a decent steak, and I don't want to mess too much with it. And plus, it's going on a sandwich, so it doesn't need to be horribly creative. But you can do that way if you want. It's up to you. But do it after you flip your steak. So I'm gonna let this go for probably about 3 minutes on this side, and this give it a nice hot sear. And then I'll flip it, let it cook for another 3 minutes, just because it's a thick steak. Normally, I wouldn't let it cook this long, and I would actually finish it in the oven with the rosemary, garlic, and butter. But again, keeping it simple for a sandwich. Alright, so I ended up doing about 2 tablespoons of butter because it's such a big steak. But then I just kind of move it off to the side. And just whatever's left, kind of baste it over the steak. It'll kind of continue to keep that crust on the top of the steak without it getting cold. And it'll kind of help cook the steak too. Again, it's kind of a thick steak, and a lot of meat here. But I'm also going to kind of push it on the side and let it cook on the side. But we're just going to let this go for another 3 minutes at least, till it's medium rare. That's how I like my steaks.
was inside.
No, I'm eating my steak this way. At least I don't eat it what is called blue, which is just like rarer than rare. So hush. Okay, I'm gonna shut the heat off, and I'm gonna let this rest in the pan. It's a little under, but by the time we're ready to slice into it and it's rested, it'll kind of cook the rest of the way. So I'm gonna set this off to the side, and we'll looks like we're gonna get ready to assemble a sandwich. All right, so real quick, one other thing that I always like to make is some sort of like oil vinegar to put on top of sandwiches. So this is just olive oil, balsamic vinegar, a little bit of garlic powder, some parsley flakes, and then I try and put some red pepper flakes in here. Can't seem to find them anywhere. But anywho, and then some pepper and some salt. But I'll put the recipe for everything, the sauce, this, all in the description below for you guys. But I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up. All right, so for this sandwich, I got some nice ciabatta sandwich rolls, I guess, but some ciabatta rolls. I got some tomatoes that I'm gonna slice. I got some baby Swiss cheese, and then some spinach and arugula. And then, like I said, my oil vinegar, and then the pickled red onions, and then the horsey sauce. But no steak, no, I'm kidding. All right, so I have here my beautiful steak. Slice into her. See how it looks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is, well, first off, I toasted my ciabatta roll. And then I'm just gonna put a couple pieces of steak on here that I haven't already eaten. And then I'm gonna put some of my pickled red onions on here. Okay, then I went ahead and put some Swiss cheese on here. Probably should have put that on first, but that's okay. Okay, then I'm gonna put a little bit of my spinach and arugula on here. Okay, and then a little bit of my oil vinegar. Okay, then I'm gonna put a couple slices of my tomato on here. Okay, and then last but not least, a horsey sauce. And there you have probably the most beautiful steak sandwich you've ever seen in your life. But let's try this out. All right. Cheers. All right, so everything about this sandwich is just amazing. So, a little messy, but everything kind of plays a part. The pepperiness of the arugula, the cheese, nice creaminess, obviously the steak, the horseradish sauce gives it a nice bite, and then the pickled onions kind of smooths everything over. And then the tomatoes are just nice and refreshing, but and then the balsamic kind of brings everything together a little bit. Kind of brings the arugula out, but I didn't tell. Well guys, there you have it, a beautiful steak sandwich. If you guys like this video and you're new, again, share this with your friends and family, hit that sub button, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and as always guys, peace out, and I will see you guys in the next one.